The first video tonight comes from a post shared on Reddit's r/ghosts, uploaded by user unknown-true7h. It is July 6, 2009, in the United States. The clip appears as part of a countdown, featuring unsettling doorbell camera footage. According to the post, the recording comes from a residential home where a woman has stepped outside to do laundry. A Ring doorbell camera is actively recording near the exterior wall. At first, the scene is calm and uneventful, with nothing appearing out of the ordinary. While standing near the wall, the woman suddenly hears a strange sound. It is not coming from the doorbell speaker, ruling out feedback or a device issue. The noise seems to be coming directly from the wall beside her. The audio is enhanced, making the sound clearer. What initially resembles moaning now sounds more like a strained voice. The voice appears distressed, as if crying out for help from inside or behind the wall itself. Visibly shaken, the woman immediately returns inside and contacts the police. Officers later search the property thoroughly, but find no one inside the walls or anywhere on the premises.
I looked around, I didn't see anybody out on the road or any cars or anything. So I went back to my Ring video to make sure I wasn't just creatively hearing something.
I can hear somebody saying something, but I can't.
Well, I posted it on there.
With no explanation and no physical evidence, the source of the voice remains unknown, leaving behind unsettling questions about what, if anything, was calling out from inside the house. The footage was shared by YouTube user Plasm0 on April 19, 2016, and recorded at a private residential property in the United States. Captured by a Ring doorbell camera, the short clip shows a suspicious encounter that occurred in broad daylight, just minutes after the homeowners had left. At approximately 12:36 p.m. on April 18, 2016, an unknown woman approaches the front door. Instead of knocking or ringing the doorbell, she immediately tests the door handle, appearing to check whether the house is unlocked. Her movements are cautious and deliberate, suggesting she believes the property may be empty. Moments later, she notices the Ring camera above the door. Realizing she is being recorded, she stops, looks directly at the camera, and quickly leaves without saying anything. The homeowners later review the footage and discover the encounter took place just 10 minutes after they had left the house. Due to the suspicious behavior, the clip is reported to local police. No further contact or explanation is ever recorded, leaving the incident unresolved. The footage was shared by YouTube user Gollycat on November 2, 2016, and recorded at a private residential property in the United States. Captured by a Ring doorbell camera, the clip documents an unsettling moment that occurred in the early hours of Halloween morning. At approximately 2:30 a.m., the homeowner receives a motion alert from the Ring doorbell. Checking the live feed, they see an empty street outside the front door. After several seconds, a strange noise can be heard. It doesn't resemble a passing car, and nothing visible moves through the frame, creating an immediate sense of unease. Moments later, the Ring camera's lights begin flickering rapidly, switching on and off in an erratic strobing pattern. Roughly 20 seconds after the first sound, a second eerie noise is heard outside, intensifying the tension. It's unclear whether the activity is caused by a technical issue or something else entirely. After the second noise, everything suddenly stops. The lights return to normal, and the area outside remains empty and silent. No explanation is given, leaving the brief sequence unresolved and unsettling. The footage was shared by YouTube user Sylvia Schlarb on July 27, 2018, and recorded at a private residential property in the United States. Captured by a front door security camera, the clip shows an unusual late-night moment that went unnoticed until the footage was reviewed the following morning. At 12:05 a.m., a motion alert is triggered, though nothing immediately stands out. When the homeowner later reviews the footage, a bright, glowing orb appears near the front door, moving in a quick, deliberate manner. The orb suddenly darts across the driveway toward a pickup truck, changing direction mid-movement. Its steady glow and sharp turns make it difficult to compare to insects or drifting debris. The light then slows and hovers near the front bumper of a Cadillac, lingering briefly before drifting out of frame. No further movement is captured, leaving the brief encounter unexplained. Sorry to interrupt the video, but if you're enjoying it, please consider liking and subscribing to the channel. We're trying to hit 50,000 subscribers by the end of the year, and right now, 80% of viewers aren't subscribed. So if you're one of them, please consider hitting that subscribe button. It really means a lot. Your support helps us continue creating awesome, creepy videos. Now, let's get back to the video. The footage was shared by YouTube user Michael Hernandez on December 19, 2017, and recorded at a private residential property in the United States. Captured by a Ring and Wink smart doorbell system, the clip documents a dangerous early morning fire, where timely alerts helped prevent a far worse outcome. At around 3:30 a.m., multiple motion alerts from the Ring and Wink apps wake Michael and his family. The notifications immediately signal activity at the front of the house, creating a sense of urgency as they try to understand what's happening. Looking out from the bedroom, Michael sees flames outside the window. He rushes to the front door and attempts to use a hose, but is forced back by the heat. As the fire continues to spread, he grabs a fire extinguisher while his fiancée calls 911. The early alerts prove critical, giving them precious time to respond.
Ow! Ow!
The fire is brought under control before it can cause catastrophic damage. No serious injuries are reported. Michael later credits the smart doorbell system with alerting them in time, highlighting how quickly situations like this can escalate without warning. The footage was shared by YouTube user Observer 42 on December 4, 2019, and recorded at a private residential property in Fountain Valley, California. Captured by a front door Ring camera, the clip shows a bold daytime theft, targeting both delivered packages and the home's security device. The camera shows a quiet suburban street and a front doorstep with several parcels left unattended. Two individuals approach casually, briefly surveying the area as they move closer to the house. Without hesitation, one of them reaches up and violently rips the Ring doorbell from the wall. At the same time, the second individual moves toward the packages, keeping watch as the device is torn free.
Hello?
The accomplice gathers multiple parcels and stuffs them into a bag. Their movements are quick and coordinated, suggesting the theft was planned in advance. The stolen doorbell, meant to deter crime, is now part of it.
Hello? Hello? Who is it?
Both suspects retreat rapidly and flee in a waiting vehicle. The homeowner is left with damaged property and missing deliveries, later reporting the incident to local police. The footage was shared by YouTube user Logical Leprechaun on December 18, 2020, and recorded at a private residential property in the United States. Captured by a front door Ring camera, the short clip documents a brief and unexplained figure appearing in the early hours of the morning.
Thing runs for like another minute and he never comes back. He never does anything else. Whoever this
Never rings again.
The camera shows a quiet, empty street outside the property. The scene is still and uneventful until a hazy humanoid shape suddenly appears in frame. Rather than walking, the figure seems to drift, its unclear outline contrasting with the normally sharp Ring footage.
again.
Like a wedding dress?
Wedding dress.
That is creepy how it's just...
The figure continues moving across the camera's view, appearing to float. No sound is heard, and no other movement is detected on the street. The uploader notes that if this were a person heading toward a parked car, additional motion would likely be recorded, but none follows.
It's dark there, and then boom, out of nowhere. Just came from...
The figure vanishes as abruptly as it appeared, leaving the street empty once again. With no further alerts or explanation, the clip ends, raising questions about what was captured and why it appears so unlike normal human movement. The footage was shared by YouTube user Ruby Gonzalez, on December 20th, 2018, and recorded at a private residential property on the 1500 block of East Algrove Street in Covina, California. The camera shows a quiet suburban street outside the property. The calm is broken when two hooded men approach the front door. One knocks aggressively, while the other stands back, watching the surrounding area. One of the suspects repeatedly calls out the resident's first name, clearly attempting to pressure someone inside to answer. The family remains inside, monitoring the situation through the Ring app as the tension escalates.
Yo! Yo! Yo!
The suspects continue knocking and peering toward the door, growing visibly frustrated. The homeowner does not respond, avoiding direct contact and maintaining caution.
Come on, bro.
After failing to gain entry, the two men retreat from the property and quickly return to a waiting vehicle before driving away. The street falls quiet once again, and the family is left unharmed. The footage was shared by YouTube user Sean Tharp on December 27, 2018, and recorded at a private residential property in the United States. Captured by a front door Ring camera, the clip shows a brief but unsettling figure appearing in the early hours of a freezing winter morning. The footage opens at around 2 a.m. as the homeowner's girlfriend leaves for work. The yard is quiet and still, with the cold conditions clearly visible. Suddenly, a figure wearing only a tank top enters the frame from the right, walking through the yard despite the freezing temperature. As the figure moves closer, its form appears vague and semi-transparent. There are no accompanying sounds or other movement detected, making the presence feel out of place and unnatural. The figure gradually fades from view, disappearing as abruptly as it appeared. When the footage is later reviewed, the homeowner notes that the movement and appearance don't resemble a typical intruder. The clip ends without explanation, leaving the figure's identity unresolved. The The footage was shared by YouTube user Detective Doyle on March 24, 2010. Filmed late at night inside a vintage video store, the low-quality recording captures a disturbing scene unfolding in the building's dimly lit hallways. The video opens on a narrow hallway with minimal lighting. An unknown figure appears, dragging an unidentified object along the floor. A faint scraping sound echoes through the empty store. As the figure continues moving, a second presence becomes visible, standing motionless in the shadows. The watcher does not approach or react, silently observing from a distance. The dragging continues as the camera view subtly shifts, reinforcing the isolation of the setting. The clip ends abruptly, offering no explanation for either figure or the object being pulled. The footage was shared by YouTube user Jason Chekhov on January 22, 2013. Filmed outside a private residential home, the clip captures a disturbing late-night encounter involving an unknown individual lingering close to a ground-floor window. The clip opens on a quiet exterior view of the house. From the darkness, a shadowy figure slowly approaches a ground floor window, their deliberate movement immediately creating tension. The individual stops directly in front of the window and peers inside. Their face is close to the glass, appearing to examine both the interior of the home and the camera itself. The silence and proximity make the moment especially unsettling. The figure shifts slightly along the window frame, lingering as if deciding what to do next. While there is no clear attempt to force entry, the behavior feels erratic and intrusive. After several seconds, the individual drifts out of frame. The camera continues recording, leaving the encounter unresolved and unsettling due to how closely the house was inspected. The footage was shared by YouTube user Rainy Skylar on the 16th of September 2013. Filmed in a remote mountainous area late at night, far from busy roads or neighbors, the clip shows a mysterious woman emerging from the darkness. The isolation, wet conditions, and her unpredictable behavior create a tense and unsettling scene, all captured clearly by the security camera. The clip opens with a quiet view of the property, shrouded in darkness and mist. A woman slowly emerges from the shadows, her movements deliberate but strange, immediately creating an eerie atmosphere. She pauses mid-step, turning her head as if surveying the surroundings or noticing the camera. The silence, combined with the wet, slippery terrain, adds to the sense of isolation and vulnerability. The woman begins moving closer to the camera, her pace slowing unnaturally. Her gaze seems fixed, giving the impression she is aware of being recorded, making the encounter particularly unsettling. She disappears briefly into the darkness, only to reappear in a different spot, continuing her strange wandering. The unpredictability of her movements, combined with the desolate mountain setting, heightens tension and unease. Eventually, she walks away into the darkness, vanishing from view. The footage ends without explanation, leaving a lingering sense of mystery and discomfort about her presence and intentions. The next video of the night comes from footage shared by Reddit user numerous-eggplant-11 on October 21st, 2025. Filmed at a private residential property in the United Kingdom, the clip captures a tense late-night encounter outside a quiet home. The footage opens on a dark view of the front door. A man suddenly steps into frame, standing close to the doorbell. His presence is abrupt and immediately unsettling. He rings the doorbell repeatedly, then stands still, facing the house. The empty street and lack of background noise amplify the tension. The man remains in place without speaking or moving away. His stillness and proximity to the door create a growing sense of uncertainty. The clip ends with the man still standing outside. The homeowner later admits they were scared to death, shaken by how deliberate and close the encounter felt. We appreciate you for watching. If these creepy encounters gave you chills, hit that like button and subscribe so you don't miss the next drop. There's always another mystery waiting just around the corner.